you know, the IRS got into trouble over this classifying Tea Party, and I can't believe they did that. And the term that they used was BOLO, and it means be on the lookout for. So they say be on the lookout for Tea Party groups, patriots, etc. And hence we have this huge scandal where people would say, well, you see that? They're targeting conservatives. But now we showed last week that it turns out that scandal was nonsense, because the guy who organized the BOLO for all those conservative groups turns out to be a conservative Republican working at the IRS. He came out in testimony in front of ICE's committee and said, look, I did it for easy classification so that we wouldn't have bureaucracy where it goes to all these different branches and we'd be able to organize it better. It wasn't malicious, and by the way, he can show it wasn't malicious, not only because he's a conservative Republican, but because he then went on to approve every single application in front of him. So it's a non-scandal to begin with, but now the Associated Press has a whole different aspect of this. What I'd been asking for from day one, and since they didn't have that information, they didn't give it to us, we couldn't help but be concerned in the beginning. It's perfectly legitimate to ask questions if you didn't know that in fact it was a conservative Republican running and they were doing it for just classification purposes, etc. But the question I was asking is, did they also target progressive groups? Well, the AP says today, an internal IRS document obtained by the Associated Press said that besides Tea Party lists used by screeners to pick groups for close examination, also included the terms Israel, progressive, and Occupy. Ding, ding, ding. There we have it. It's over. They did the Tea Party. They also did progressives. They also did Occupy. So obviously, it was not just targeting Republicans or right-wingers or conservatives. And by the way, many different IRS officials also testified under oath saying the Obama administration had absolutely nothing to do with it. And obviously, they also targeted groups that were on the left. We didn't find this out until weeks later. By the way, even Mitch McConnell has backed off of this story. If Mitch McConnell backed off of the story, it ain't a story, it ain't a scandal, and this overwhelmingly proves it. One last point. If they also had Israel and a BOLO, you think the United States government is targeting people that are in favor of Israel or groups in favor of Israel and doing extra scrutiny because the United States government is too tough on Israel? Could be, but it would appear unlikely. So given that they did right-wing groups, they did left-wing groups, they even went after groups that the United States government appears to be the most friendly with, what most of the politicians would describe as our top ally, I think they did it for everybody. I think that's pretty clear.